Hey, who is hot? Some people might not like me after this video. Nah, I might wait until another one. But I want to talk about Brother Simba. Brother Simba. Brother Simba. That's what I call him. Brother Simba. Died. He passed, rather. I take that back. He passed. Because when I was at he wouldn't he wouldn't like if I said that. No, he passed. He transcended. You know, he has reached his final resting place. Um, he's gone on to see the Lord, and Brother Simba. Let me explain who Brother Simba was slightly, because I don't know his whole life, but I've known him for a long time. So when I was a young guy, Brother Simba, when I worked with Boris and Bill Cooper and things like that, who was uh, my art. I don't know how to master a printer. I was apprentice to him, so master artist that I was apprenticeship to, or I was his protege, and Simba, he had African art import store, and Simba would come through the store just like a lot of other people. It was like a, you know, an HQ. You know, you had to go through there, and so I met him and a lot of other cats, and they're very Afrocentric. Now I was around there, and I was very Afrocentric aware. And they had different meetings where they talk about different things relating to black people, and you know, so Simba was always around. And now that was when I was like 16, 17 years old, as far as I remember. Because there was other cats, they would walk with a cane, and they were definitely African outside. Now, the way they dressed and their culture and stuff like that. Now, let me say something about that. I've been around that. I gotta turn this on because I just stepped back here and the monitors were on, and I meant to turn these on and let them cool a little bit. But it's hard. It's a small room. But Brother Simba was very much what we would call Afrocentric, and the community was. And so a lot of the members of my community, especially here in Buffalo, with it being very, at the time, very segregated. Now, I don't think it is as much now. It's just times have changed. But there was a very Afrocentric type of apparel. And a lot of people wear it. Now, being an artist, you would think that would be something that I would gravitate to, and I never gravitated towards it. I never dressed like, I did my own thing. I never really dressed to wear those different African garments and stuff like that. Even though I work with it, I just never felt the need to do it. But Simba was very strong on that, and there's a lot of people, especially in Buffalo, very Afrocentric, and we had a lot of Afrocentric events and holidays, and we still do now. But I always see it very different. I think that if I was ever to get in touch, and there was the time roots, and there was things to get in touch with your roots and stuff like that. And one of the buzzwords is grassroots. I still never understood what that meant. But I came to not really like the word whenever I hear it. But for whatever reasons, I don't think grassroots, and I don't try to be grassroots, And so my attitude about Afrocentricity is very different. Even about an artist, I don't know what it is. But even when I was in New York, I would tell people that I'm an artist, and they're like, "Oh, you don't look like an artist," Because I never did. I actually would dress like a businessman, if anything. And so And it's funny, I do run my own business, and I deal. I am a producer, and I want to say something about that. I don't want this to be about me, but it's going to be somewhat. I want to say thank you to all the people that reached down to pull me up, and all the people who reached up to push me up. So I want to thank you. But what I want to say about that, Simba always took photographs, and so I got a call today, and a lot of people. I got a call from Ray, who was down at the African Culture Center, and I heard he passed yesterday. Now, he was sick for a while, and I don't know exactly what was going on, but I don't know what it was, but I thought it was a situation where, he was really ill, and it was something that was very contagious. So I think somebody mentioned that it's not a good idea to see him at this point, or not in those stages of it. But I heard that he was sick. He was very associated with those African cultural centers, Langston Hughes Center, and so it was very much that kind of thing. And he also had honors. He told me, I went by his house once when he was living way down towards William. I went by his house. I helped him with some computer graphic stuff, and he always called me his computer graphic genius. And I don't like to be called that. I don't take that very lightly, that term genius. And so I don't like for people to call me that, but I never mind Simba calling me that, because I knew where he was coming from. And so Simba always had this thing, he'd say, peace and love, and give you a hug. So I'm going to miss his hugs. But more so, that's not what I'm talking about. I used to see Simba when I lived in New York. And so I used to see Simba walking down the street. He's just that everybody, peace and love, just older brother, But he had awards and stuff like that, honored by the city. And his photo journal was just like a documentary of like ages. I think he was like with presidents, with very famous people, Muhammad Ali. I mean, he photographed everything. He even had pictures of me in the Challenger, and I think that's why I remember him too. He took pictures of me when I was first at Juneteenth, and when I first got in Juneteenth, I actually they took photos and put me in the Challenger, and that was over 20 years ago. And then the following week, I was also in Allentown. So I always had this this universal kind of, like Allentown being very segregated, and on the white side of town, so to speak, which is not so much like that now. But, being in both shows and doing extremely well in both shows. So I just don't have the sense of, I'm not I know a lot of people call me judgmental and stuff like that, but I don't have a sense of where, and I need to develop it, I don't have a sense of typecasting or judging people. And so I need to work on that and be more judgmental but I don't really do it. So I don't assume things about people, and unless I know or certain things. But so I don't assume a lot of things. I don't fit in the cliche. I don't, this is a mode, okay, get in it. No. I like for things to form around me, and or things to just find their place, so to speak. That's probably the first time I realized that. But anyway, Simba, I would see Simba, and this would kill me. So Simba, I was always at the festival. I mean, when the Funk was there, he was probably down there. I probably got him on camera, maybe. I don't know. He, like I said, he took some photos of me when I was, he's always photoed. And he would always ask for computer help, and he would talk, and we would go. Every now and then we would have a riff. He would say a sharp word to me, but usually it was a specific thing it was just kind of between me and him. And so he would nail me. He would just like dig into me sometime. But it was okay, because I had a very personal relationship with him on the level that I had the relationship. It was definitely, he was definitely a part of my life. And more so, And what was amazing and why I will always love him because of the part of the life that he was because I would see him in New York, and it would be a sunny day, and I'd be going down the street. And New York was kind of tough, and I didn't come back to Buffalo a lot. Sometimes it was kind of tough, and but I'd be walking down the street, and I'd see Simba in New York. I would see Simba in New York City like more than once. I would see Simba like at certain festivals. If I was in there, Simba would be there. I would see him at Brooklyn at BAM, at the Black Brooklyn Music Academy. I don't know, American Music Academy. And so they would have these things, and Simba would be in there, and we would talk stuff. And, I'd be making some money in New York. I'd be like, okay, Simba, come on, let's go ahead and get something to eat, some Chinese food. And so me and Simba would sit, and I'd treat him to some Chinese food. And we would talk. And, that was part of our personal relationship that I had with Simba. Now, beyond this, I love the great things in New York. I mean, the great things in Buffalo, and all the wonderful things that he did in Buffalo, and notary. I mean, he's been honored by downtown and stuff. And he's just this brother you would always see in the street. He wouldn't drive, and he always had a cane, and he had his African. And he'd be dressed up, and I'd see him walking down the street, and you would always see Simba like 5 blocks off because you could, the way he was dressed, and it was nice many times, and I enjoyed talking to him, and he was a real brother, and so I mean it was like they have a phrase just for Simba. He don't know any strangers, he's never met a stranger, and but you would know that he knew you, and you were part of his family. He was your brother. You were just part of his family. He was a part of you. And so Simba was a great man and a great character as a man, and just something you would have to have the pleasure of meeting. So God bless Brother Simba and his final resting place, and all of his wondrous work, and he's always gonna live on. Like I say, me and him eating Chinese food on what street was it? It was like 6 and just up for 20th or something like that, like 23rd, 24th, 25th. It's Arcane Street. And then meeting him in Brooklyn, and then just other places like that. It was good. And that was just something that I shared with him, and I wanted to share with you. So God bless you all. Love you all. And I want to talk about, more African heritage kind of things and that kind of thing. So I'll talk to you soon.